cut short that title name. So.
Yeah, now it shows meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are live. Okay, very good. Thank you. Dear friends, masters, and co-creators, this is Dr. Kavitha Kukunoor, founder of KHA Miraculous Minds. Welcome you all. Before we start, we always thank Universe for giving us this great opportunity by meditating on the most supreme Lord, the Creator, with Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yono Prachodayat. Om Sri Matre Namaha. Taking Lord Hanuma blessings and his divine light to give us strength. Whatever I shared and we all share today flows from Sita Ma through Dena Merriam and to all of us. With deep gratitude and heartfelt thanks to PSSM founder Brahmashi Pitamaha Patriji and Swarnamala Amma, thanking and taking blessings from our family, parents, extended family, all divine masters, astral gurus, friends, and our KHA Miraculous Minds meditation group and our KHA Steady Group doctors, PSSM PMC channel. And I offer my sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Dena Merriam for blessing me with the opportunity to speak on her new book. Before we start session, let us meditate for 2 friends. Friends, just sit comfortably and cross your feet, clasp your hands, fingers into fingers, close your eyes, and just observe your natural, easy, calm breath. Breath is our guru. Today we are doing wisdom sharing, book reading, and group meditation with the divine blessings, Sita Ma's energies, and Hanuma blessings. Last 1 minute, masters. And whenever you are ready, place your hands on your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And open your eyes with a beautiful smile. Thank you so much. Today, May 4th, 2026, as part of Swadhyaya, we feel and feel truly blessed to narrate a topic from Dena Merriam's book Sita's Yoga on topic the yoga of piercing appearances. And along with me, we have several friends and masters. Inchara, Nagaraj from Michigan, Jeswitha, Chintala, Cheruvu from Atlanta, Kavin Kukunoor from Michigan, and Sunita Shivakumar from Kansas City. And delighted to have Sensei Kid Kavin also with us, right? Who is doing biomedical engineering at UFM. So last year we were blessed to have Dena ji on our KHA Miraculous Minds platform before she published this new book. So we had the glimpses of yoga of gratitude, and it is a great joy and blessing to welcome Dena Merriam again on Mother's Day at our KHA Miraculous Minds. So we host a retreat to share all your experiences based on her book Sita's Yoga. And for those who are watching this session for the first time, let me share how I got into this book series. So this book, Sita's Yoga, was not my original collection. And when I had a conversation with Dena Merriam recently, end of February, she told about her new book release, Sita's Yoga in India. And in our discussion, she suggested that I should read it. Immediately, I ordered the book, and with the blessings of Sita Ma, on March 8th, International Women's Day, started the first topic, the yoga of selfless action at PMC USA channel. And that too, March 9th, Deenaji's birthday. So we are truly fortunate to receive her blessings through her sacred work. And yesterday did another session with PMC USA on Buddha Purnima, the topic, the yoga of generosity. We shared several insights from the book with different groups like PMC USA, Life Workers, Bhiksha Master Jivita Patalu, Light and Soul Divine Group, Joy Team, Sheetal Power from Garden of Gods, and our KHA Miraculous Minds. And all the recordings have been compiled into a playlist with name KHA Book Series on Sita's Yoga, and they are available at our YouTube channel Kavitha Kukunoor. So far, 19 chapters or topics were narrated from Sita's Yoga. And I feel in my heart, this is not an ordinary book, a sacred blessing, and that has come through grace of Sita Ma and Sri Ram. Each session and the topic I picked up randomly has unfolded not by chance, but through inner intuition and spiritually aligned with higher energies and masters and souls, often on auspicious days that carry their own divine significance. And that's how we were all together today in this session. And each chapter stands as a sacred teaching, gently revealing the deeper truths of our past life karmas and their influence on our present journey. So, about the author Dena Merriam, who was born and brought up in the USA. Through her spiritual depth and innate abilities, she shares profound experiences connected to the Treta Yuga, Sri Ram and Sita Ma. And her earlier work, Untold Story of Sita, many have read and it transformed many lives. She began her work in the interfaith movement in 1990s as Vice Chair of Millennium World Peace Summit. She is the founder of Global Peace Initiative of Women, and for over 40 years she has been a student of Paramahamsa Yogananda and a meditation practitioner. She received the Nirvana Peace Prize for her interfaith peace efforts, and she has authored several books. Dena Merriam's books always start with visionary dreams. And Dena ji says, for the first time, I am writing a story that is not my own. It is a story that has been told to me. Means Dena ji, the narrator of the story, is a great soul who abide in the high astral realm filled with consciousness of Sita Ma, also known as Mata. So it is a story of woman named Devani, showing glimpses of life towards the Treta Yuga. And for those who missed the previous sessions, here in the chapter, the names Soma is another great Devata associated with Sita Ma and takes care of Laukush. And she sends channeling messages to Devani. Mandar is Devani's husband, and Mandar has two wives, Devani and Anu. Uma and Kian are loving couple in this life, and they are good friends to Devani's family. Manish and Puri are couple who caused conflict in the village, and they both have abusive nature. There were some killings in the village, and Manish and Puri were banished from the village. So let us go get into the chapter. This is the book. The yoga of piercing appearances. We must see beyond what happens to be the outer manifestation and perceive what is taking place behind the scenes. There is what appears to be, and then there is the reality behind the appearance. See what we see outside, outer appearance, but there is something behind the outer appearance. We must discern between the two. To do so, we must expand our vision beyond the immediate to perceive what came before in previous births and what will come after in the future, which we in the present are shaping moment by moment. See, our present is shaping moment by moment our future. Each challenge, every bleak situation can yield a positive outcome, a step forward in the journey of awakening. Events alone, taken in isolation, are often baffling. But when we see the broader context, everything falls into place, following the pattern set by the past actions and thoughts. So, if we see separately one by one, we might get confused and we do not know, we do not get the broader picture. But when we see it a whole holistic way of healing, like we do, we consider whole body and come up with the remedy. Inevitably, unsolved matters will come to a resolution. The law of cause and effect spans lifetimes, and rebalancing is a slow process in earth time. But as we go through life, it is helpful to keep in mind our future self, the one we aspire to become, the one we are creating in the present, and the law of cause and effect that goes on through the lifetimes. This can help us outgrow the traits, patterns, and mindsets we seek to shed, the habits that bind us. See, once we know that this law of karma, cause and effect, and then we can change. We can help us outgrow the traits and patterns and mindsets, because what is the present will come up in as a future. If we change our mindset and habits, it can help. The future self that I aspired to be was one whose life was fully dedicated to serving the cosmic mother. So Devan is saying that her future self, she consider it as a serving the cosmic mother. I had left behind desires for human love, for comfort and power, which I had already experienced many times in the past, and which I knew did not bring lasting happiness. Yet in my current life, I did not feel I had yet attained that single pointed desire to serve her. Although this was my aspiration, events unfolding in the village were to help me attain this goal. So Devani, she has seen her all the previous life, and in this life, she has experienced all the things. She can see the past, she can see the present, she can see the future. And now in this current life, she wanted to get connected to the Sitama. And she wanted to resolve the village. As I mentioned, that there is a conflict in the village, the greed, human greed, and everything. All the topics, whichever we have covered, they have different topics and different lessons we can learn. Mani's brother killed a relative of Mandar who was interfering with his land ownership scheme. At Mani's instigation, his brother had built fences around land that Mandar's family had long cultivated. But our relative, with the help of others, tore down some of those fences. At Manish's insistence, his brother built them again and again. They were destroyed, sending Manish and his brother into a fit of vengeance. See, Manish and Puri, they are the villagers, but they are causing the injustice. And whole issue, this conflict is for the land. They are building that fence, and that way they are getting separated and having that property. Earlier it was not there. Everyone used to enjoy it together. A brawl followed which led to a death, the death of our relative, a killing over a fence. This is what we had come to. Manish and his brother disappeared, and a group of villagers was preparing to scour the surrounding forest in search of them. For what end it was not clear. Would another killing take place, or would the perpetrators be taken to Ayodhya for injustice? I spoke to Mandar, urging restraint, but his passions were aroused, and passion blinds reason, leaving no room for compromise or compassion. So Devani, she tried to make it the situation come, but there is no compassion, because now there was a killing. Manda's relative was killed by Manish brother. Mandar and his allies were in retribution mode, ready to attack. But Mani's supporters claimed it was Mandar's relative who was at fault for not abiding by the new conditions. The situation was explosive. Perhaps it was due to all my meditation or to Mata's blessing, but for whatever reason, I found myself internally unshaken. The relative who was killed was a good man, although prone to rash decisions. His death was an unnecessary tragedy, but given the circumstances, it seemed inevitable that such an incident would eventually occur. So, the person, the mother's relative who was killed, is a very good person, but he takes little rash decisions, but overall, he's a good person. So, this has caused a lot of agony in the village. Something had to break the stalemate we were in, and perhaps an extreme event was needed to crack open hardened hearts. The last thought in my mind was that Mata would appear, although I heard that she appeared in a village to stop the cycle of violence against the animals of the forest. So now Devani, she connects to Sita Ma through her meditation. So she know Sita Ma, she loves nature. She takes care of nature. So, in the untold story of Sita book, one of the animal was killed, and that time Sita then Sita Ma talks to that tiger. See, it keeps on like a cycle, right? If they kill and the other will kill again. So that you have killed that human and see how much agony is there, and now they are going to. She can talk to the animal. She can talk to everything, nature. Now they are going to kill you, so you should not do like that thing. So now they recollected that incidents, and now they wanted to reach again Mata for help. The night after the killing, I felt a strong call from Uma and heard her request to meet me at the edge of the forest. I was in the middle of preparing the evening meal, but I handed my chores over to Anu and excused myself, hurrying to the spot Uma and had communicated through thought. So she got a call from Uma through her thought. Uma and Kiar are loving couple, right? And Devani does meditation with them. That's how she got more intuitions when she meditated with them. Kian and Sadanand are hiding Manish and his brother. Sadanand is another a great friend of Devani's family. And now they are hiding. See, Kian and Sadanand, they are hiding Manish and his brother. Otherwise, the villagers will come and kill them, right? Because it's again a revenge. You and I must find your relative who was killed. I did not understand her. What do you mean? They are hiding Manish. Are they hiding them in your cottage? She shook her head. Those two have fled, but Kian and Sadanan are at home meditating together, creating a veil to hide their whereabouts so they do not be found, and Mata can deal with them. There cannot be another killing in the village. Devani, revenge is not the way. We must find your relative in the astral field and help him through this difficulty. I understood, and we immediately sat down to meditate. It is not easy to find someone in the astral field unless there is a strong connection. But together we were able to locate him. He was in a semi sleep state, not fully realizing that he was separated from his body, and we were able to observe his mental processing as his memories from the past emerged. So now what they are doing is Uma, Kian and Devani. So they are meditating and they're the person who was killed. So they can connect to him in the astral field and trying to explain the past and everything. 2 centuries earlier, a boy named, this is the past, what has happened in the past. A boy named Ajit was in love with a girl who was betrothed to a boy named Bodhi. Bodhi's family was close to the girl's family, and the marriage was arranged when they were still children. But when she entered early womanhood, she met Ajit, and the two fell deeply in love. Her marriage date to Bodhi's was set, and her parents would not consider withdrawing from the arrangement. The two lovers became distraught. They saw no solution but to run away together. One night they did just that, but their path was not to be easy. Encouraged by his family, who were furious at this affront, Bodhi pursued the couple. For days he sought them, following every lead, and finally, weeks later, he found them. He was determined to bring the girl back, for he was also in love with her, and declared he would forgive her for her folly. At first, the two men fought with words, but this soon devolved into a physical struggle. See, like in movies, we see, right, one person, there is they love each other, the lovers, but they will get married to other person. So this is the same fight that is going on between those two, Ajit and Bodhi. So now here I would pause and I want Inchara, please continue. You are muted, huh?
One second. Am I mute? Like it's down to.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Ajit did everything he could to prevent a Bodhi from reclaiming his beloved, and at one point he struck him so hard with his fist that the man fell backward on the ground and hit his head on a rock. The man died immediately, but he left that body in a fit of anger, determined to seek revenge. Ajit and the girl escaped, but Ajit never made amends for what he did, and their life together was not happy. Ma'am, like, do I have to complete a page or like a
No,
half paragraph? Then
you can continue.
ah, continue. Okay. In his successive incarnation, Bodhi began unconsciously to seek the man who had taken his betrothed and killed him. Ajit was reborn as Mandar's relative, and Bodhi was reborn as Manish's brother. In his current life, Manish's brother married the girl. From that time, a woman who was now drawn to the power of his family, but the antagonism between Bodhi and Ajit had never been resolved and so followed them into their current births. From the start, they took an instant dislike to each other, and finally, the reborn Bodhi took the reborn Ajit's life. But it was also an accident, like the previous killing had been. When our relative began to tear down the fence, Manish's brother hit him so hard that he fell back upon a rock, cracking open his head. A killing over a girl long ago led to a killing over a fence.
So here I'll pause one
Yeah.
second, Inchara. Like, see what has happened in the current life, how that fight between both of them just for the fence. In the past life, there was a karmic effect. He had done that one to the other person, and it doesn't matter what the names, but the same thing has come up in this life. So that is the cause and effect.
Yeah. Uma and I mentally followed as my relative awoke to those memories. He was a good man but was unable to control his emotions and carried guilt from the centuries earlier. Uma and I had to calm his unsettled state so that one killing would not lead to yet another in a future birth. It was time to dissolve the karma between the two men so the cycle would not continue. As we sat beside him, pouring love into his being, something incredible happened. His anger towards his killer dissolved and was replaced by the desire of forgiveness for a past deed, a deed he had not remembered in his recent birth. We perceived in him a weariness from carrying the submerged memory of a past killing, which we now helped him release. The lack of remorse are the making of amends in that past life had eaten away at him and sorry.
And deep inside,
Yeah, I'm opening the page. And deep inside, in the very depth of his being, he subconsciously agreed to give up his life for having taken a life in the past. In that exchange, is it exchange?
yeah,
Exchange
in that
came,
exchange.
yeah, in that exchange came resolution. As he emerged from his reflections, he saw us and communicated his appreciation, saying that we had helped him clear away his emotions. Then he asked us to stay with him as he proceeded further. Fortunately, both Uma and I were now adept at abiding in multiple places, so we could remain with him and still carry out our duties in our human bodies.
So here I will come.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we can be there in the celestial world, in the physical body. That's what they are saying. This Uma, Kian, and Devani, they are talking to him who was killed, and also they are in the celestial realm and also in the physical body. That way, now he understood that the whatever has done and the karmic resolution has come.
So, needless to say, the killing created much distress in my household, which I did my best to ease. I was able to hold Mandar back from going with the other men in search of Manish and his brother, whom I knew they would not find. A few days later, after the incident, when the household grew quiet, I slipped away and went to Uma and Kian's cottage, knowing that our small group would be there deep in meditation. I entered quietly and sat down. down, and soon my awareness of the outer world recorded. My attention was focused on my presence with my relative as he was getting adjusted to the reality of having left his earthly form. A debt had been repaid, and he was processing the lessons learned in the life he had just left. In each life, we resolve our old karma but create new pattern, which will guide our future, some good and some not. He was now assessing his inability to control his emotion, aspiring for a future where he will not make decisions rashly. It was too soon for for the blueprint of that future to emerge. For now, he needed rest and healing before embarking on another journey out. I saw him encounter his mother from his recent life, who had passed on a few years earlier. Perceiving his joy in finding her, I knew it was time to withdraw as I was no longer needed. Most people live in the immediate now, as we are counseled to do, but during the time in which I then lived, the Treta Yuga, sight was expansive and one could more easily see the continuum after leaving. Uh,
My relative.
yeah, I'm opening. After leaving my relative in the austral field, I entered the still, thoughtless realm and remained, remained that way for quite some time. Normally, when we emerged from meditation, we silently departed without speaking. But this night, I did not want to leave. So I stayed after the others departed and asked Uma and Kian what they experienced in meditation. I saw Mata, began Uma quietly. After withdrawing from the astral field, I was taken to the place where she is, in the forest, where Manish and his brother are hiding. She is dressed in her royal attire, so they know who she is, but they were defending themselves, blaming the incident on the victim, saying he provoked them. She listened pensively, and after they were done speaking, I heard her say, to repair the damage you have incurred, you must reflect on your deeds and make amends. The Maharaja will provide the conditions for you to do so. In addition to this, one death over over these last years, they have harmed the whole village with your actions, and you have begun given ample time and opportunity to correct your behavior. Then I heard her ask the man who accompanied her to take them to Ayodhya. Uma became quiet, and Kian added, a karmic debt has been repaid, but this could easily have exploded into another cycle of killing. So we had to prevent the two men from being found. Prabhu Ram will now handle the matter. The unfinished karma between Manish's brother and the Manda's relative could have been resolved in a different, non-violent way, but neither of men could control their emotions, and things got out of hand. This will have a very sobering effect on the whole village. Listening to them, I realized that all of us in the village bore some responsibility for the hostility that developed because we had allowed the conflict to build until it reached the boiling point. We have been living in the mental war zone, I mused. As I spoke those words, I thought of war in the Lanka and couldn't help but ask, If the killing of Ravana was justified because of his evil deeds, then perhaps we should have expired Manish and his followers long ago. Perhaps we could have avoided his strategy if we had taken decisive action sooner. I knew that I knew that the karma between my relative and Manish's brother could have been resolved in a different way. We didn't have the authority. Reminded me, how could we have sent him away without proper authority? We never needed such a power before, but it seems that now we do. When Kian and I once visited Mata, I remember her saying that one of the dangers of war in Lanka was that it could be replicated on a smaller scale, commented Uma. She indicated that before the war in Lanka, everything that could be done in subdue Ravana had been done, and battle was a last resort. Then I heard her say internally, the battle against Ravana was not fought with anger or hostility, but with love. The weapons were the weapons used were arrows of love, carefully targeted, not to cause unnecessary destruction, but to help those souls whose time to leave the physical world had come, to help subdue their anger and bitterness, so the end result would yield a positive outcome where everyone benefited. Uma paused and then mused. We cannot say that we have done that. We have not had the spiritual maturity to use arrows of love. Mata also said that Ravana's arrogance masked a deep hidden anguish, and his soul unconsciously called out of Ram for liberation. This is also part of what drew Mata and Ram to Lanka, to free him of his destructive personality.
So
Could it
here,
be?
one second,
Yes.
Inchara.
Yeah, ma'am.
So here, now for a permanent solution or a solution that is really to solve these problems, it was compared to the war in the Lanka. And so, though Sitama told everything to Ravana about what is going to happen, he did not listen. And war was the last resort, but that was also again, it is happened just with love. It is not fought with anger or hostility. It is fought with love. And the weapons used were also arrows of love. And here also, the message Mata is telling to Devani and to the villages is, it is not with anger or hostility, but you have to use the love. And she was thinking that how do we develop that love, uh, because, and again see Prabhuram also, since Ravana's arrogance did not come down, the only way to liberate him is the death, that war. Then only he got the liberation, and then again he will go into the astral realm and learn the lesson and again come back. So that was this was also a part that drew Mata and Ram to Lanka to free him of his destructive personality. Okay, please.
Could it be same here? I asked. Perhaps internally, I mean, in his deepest self, was Manish calling for some release, some correction, and it took something like this. One thing we know, replied Kian, the stalemate has been broken and change will now come. We uh, we may we may not know what that will look like, but there will be movement. For months now, when we entered the higher realms, we all saw movement, positive change, and we have been waiting for that to manifest in the physical plane. I reflected, and now it has, added Kian. I saw that tonight in meditation, this event will lead to reconciliation, and there will be a positive outcome to this to this tragedy. It is strange how darkness precedes the light, almost as a precursor. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
it.
Inchara.
Yeah.
And now we would like Kavin to proceed, please. And one thing shall I tell you? We are all here with the karmic resolution again, because otherwise we would not have been together with three cities. We are here, three different time zones. So it is all with the universe that has aligned. And thank you, Kevin, for your time to join this session, please.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read, and thank you for everyone who is here to also read and learn about all these lessons. So I'll start. Is my audio good?
Yes.
Okay. We must know that obstacles are only there to strengthen us, affirmed Uma. We must see beyond what appears to be the outer manifestation and perceive what is taking place behind the scenes. I murmured in agreement. I am aware of a part of us that is still in the subtle world, watching the shifts take place, waiting for them to manifest on the physical plane. We are doing more than waiting, replied Kian with a smile. We are assisting that manifestation. No matter how often I hear it, my mind has difficulty understanding the time lag between what takes place in the inner world and the time it takes to manifest outwardly. Uma chuckled. That is because the mind is trained to think in linear time. Manish has controlled this village for about 10 years. That's but a handful of days in celestial time. These few years we have gathered behind closed doors. Perhaps it's time for us to become more visible, to bring our meditations to the center of village life. The killing traumatized the village, and nobody was spared the agony of what happened. At first, everyone stayed close to their homes, not wandering out. But after a few days, people milling around the old tree that they played often met each other. Now it was as if they needed comfort, a sharing of feelings. All business stopped, and the market grew quiet. We seemed to be waiting for someone or some news of what would happen next. Mandar's relatives, who had gone in search of Manish and his brother, had not returned, and many were anxious about the outcome. I knew what happened to Manish because Uma had shared her vision, and I tried to assure people that that justice would be served. But they waited anyhow for some official word. Each day, more people gathered, and as they waited, people who had shunned each other for years began talking to one another. Those who supported Manish and those who opposed him for the first time in many years were now sharing feelings, bonded by the terrible incident that had shattered village life. Everyone seemed to know that we couldn't go back to the way it was before. I couldn't help but think that it took one killing to get rid of Manish, but in Lanka it took the death of how many thousands? It seemed that Mata had feared. Ravana had given birth to mini Ravanas by giving license to abuse. Over the succeeding days, I noticed that even Manish's most loyal allies were turning on him, complaining about the way he treated them, as if they were free for the first time to express their true feelings. The gatherings turned into a great airing of complaints, and once people were able to express themselves freely, the whole atmosphere began to change. It was just as this change was beginning to manifest that Mata appeared. The Maharani walked into our village dressed in her royal attire, acknowledged by everyone. I alone seemed to have trouble recognizing her, as she was not in the guise of the Mata I knew. Many people had gathered that day, and as word spread that the Maharani had come, the whole village had come out to meet her. At the sight of her, some of the women began to cry. It was a release of long pent-up emotions, tears of relief, and the hope of the tyranny choking the village would now be over. Mata was quiet at first as she looked around the large group, silently meeting each person individually by turning her gaze from one to another. I knew she was seeing the totality of each one, the past, the present, and the future. Everything was being revealed, and I could only surmise that she was interacting with each one of them at some profound inner level. I had come with Mandar and Anu, but left them to join Uma, Kian, and the others from our meditation group, who were seated towards the back of the crowd already in deep meditation. Seeking to attune myself to Mata, I closed my eyes and drifted into the inner realm. As I did, the image of Puri came before me, and I remembered a conversation we had a few days after I discovered that she had been beaten. When I visited her after she began to recover, I noticed that she was unusually quiet. I asked her what was bothering her, and she responded with the question, "Whom do you pray to, Devani?" Her question startled me, as she had never shown any interest in spiritual matters, and I didn't reply right away, but after a few minutes I said, "Narayana." "And does she respond?" I nodded. "How do you know?" "I have felt her presence since I was a child, but it was after Sachi died that became a living reality for me. I assure you, Puri, she always responds to my sincere prayer. But why do you ask?" She pointed to a small murti of Durga, one I had never noticed before, and replied thoughtfully, "My mother gave this to me when I got married. I kept it hidden, thinking I had no use for it. But after you came to me that horrible day, I took it out. I never prayed to her before now, but since that day, I have begun to. Yet I don't think she will respond, as I am not deserving of a response." "Puri, don't say that," I murmured, taking her hand. "Each of us is deserving no matter what we have done. We have done all things for which we are ashamed, but what do you pray for?" I asked as I looked at her face, still bearing marks of the brutal assaults. Naturally, I expected that she would pray for the release from her horrible husband, but instead she said, "I pray for my husband, for Manish, that he be protected, as I fear some evil will befall him." "Puri," I exclaimed, but then caught myself, but didn't say any more. "You don't understand, Devani. You don't understand at all. Whatever he does to me, it's because I deserve it." Tears rose in her eyes as she spoke those words. "Nobody deserves to be beaten, no matter what they have done in the past." "No, Devani, I deserve it," she whispered in a barely audible voice. I sighed and once more took her in my arms, realizing that deep inside lurked a hidden memory of what she had done in a previous birth. "Then you should continue to pray to Durgama. Mark my words. Puri, she will respond to you. I am sure of that. One thing I have learned is that we have patience. A response does not come immediately. We pray, and then we must surrender the results. Leave it in her hands." The night after the conversation with Puri, I had a dream of Durga Ma, my first time having darshan of that powerful Devi. She was seated with Mata. I did not receive any specific message or hear any words, but I awoke with the knowledge that they were but different aspects of one cosmic mother, and that they had heard Puri's prayers. As I sat in meditation, now among the villagers with Mata, I suddenly realized that Durga had responded through Mata. Pray to one form, and another might show up. And she had protected Manish in response to Puri's prayers, but also in accordance with the karmic decree. Had Kian and Sadand not created a protective veil, it is likely that Manish and his brother would have been found, and one or both of them would have been killed. Instead, Mata had given them another opportunity, sending them to the Ayodhya to be dealt properly. I knew it was Manish who was behind the whole fence matter. His brother was intimidated by Manish and would do whatever he was commanded to do. As my mind now focused on Manish, his Raksha past began to open up to me, but I pulled myself back. I did not need to know anymore. Manish was not my matter. Mandar's relative was, and I had helped him as much as I could. I suddenly opened my eyes to find Mata had finished addressing the group and was now meeting with a few villagers privately. My mind had been wandering, and I hadn't heard of a word of what she said, but as she was speaking, she was also transmitting to me this understanding of what took place. I wanted to approach her, but I held back when I saw how many others also wanted to speak with her. "What did Mata say?" I leaned over and asked Uma in a whisper. "She spoke of forgiveness. Didn't you hear?" "Forgiveness," I murmured. "Are the people here ready for that?" Uma smiled. "They will be now." She told us a moving story, which I will share with you later. She also explained that Manish and his brother have been sent to Ayodhya. Decisions about their future will be made there. The crowd began to disperse, and Mata was soon out of sight. It is an understatement to say that I was disappointed.
Thank you so much, Kavin. That's wonderful. And here, like Purim, how she saw her past life and whatever is happening currently. And when she prayed to Durgama, Sitama and Durgama both are same, like if you pray to one god, the other god will also appear and help. So that was very nice, and at the end we will have summary by Sunita Shivakumar. Okay, now we would like Jeswitha, please, would you like to read? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Kavitha Garu. Let me start with page 157, right, Kavitha
Yes.
Garu? Meet her. And here she was in my village, yet I didn't have the opportunity even to express my gratitude for her coming, and I hadn't heard a word of what she said. I felt that I had missed her entirely. At that moment, confusion set in. I wondered if my mind had been too preoccupied with Puri to attend to what Mata was saying. Had I been too distracted? Puri had disappeared along with her husband, and nobody knew where she had gone. For so long, my role had been to tend to her, but now, but now that role was over. Everything was changing around me, and I wasn't sure how or if I would fit in. That night, I listened as Anu and Mandar effused about the Maharani, how elegant and loving, caring and understanding she was. They were amazed that someone of her stature would come to their village, which was in the middle of nowhere, for the purpose of helping them overcome the tragedy. What did she speak about? I asked meekly. You were there, Devani. Didn't you hear? Anu asked in surprise. I shook my head and replied softly, my mind was elsewhere, and I am sorry to say I missed her talk. She told a personal story about their time in Lanka, but then she asked the villagers how they would prevent another tragedy, another strong man from arising in the future. And the most amazing thing happened. Anu's tone revealed her enthusiasm. One of women, someone I casually know and who has always been timid, stood up and suggested creating a village council, a small group of respected men and women who would have some authority to ensure that nothing like this happens again. Mata smiled at that suggestion and said her father had created such village councils in Mithila. Then she asked us to discuss and decide upon the matter ourselves. Mandar put forth your name as someone who could coordinate such a council, and many people came forward to endorse this. My name? I exclaimed in dismay. Why me? Because you are one of the few neutral people in the village who have taken no part in the conflict. Mandar told the group that you have always been a voice of reason and that you are known and respected by people on both sides. Respected by people on both sides. You know, Devani, that this is true. Supporters of Manish agreed, saying how much you helped Puri over the years. What stuck in their mind was when you brought her food after her kitchen burned down. This, suggest, this suggestion of me assuming such a role did not please me, and sensing this, Anu quickly changed the subject. For days after this conversation with Anu, my mind hopped around like a bird, unsure of which way to fly. I found no peace in the idea of getting more deeply involved in the village matters. Eventually, I did what I always did at such times. I called upon Mata and went to the meditation spot in the forest where I found Soma waiting. Mata sent me. She told me as soon as I arrived. She was unable to speak with you when she visited the village, but wanted you to know that she will soon call for you. Meeting you is like meeting Mata herself, I replied, with a deep pranam in gratitude for her presence. She smiled and replied, not quite. She also wanted me to relay a story to you. I am eager to hear any story about Mata. Perhaps it will help clear my mind. It is a story about Ravana's brother Vibhishana. I have told you about him. I remember that story had great impact on me and inspired me to spend more time meeting and listening to different families in the village on both sides of the conflict. Well, perhaps this story will inspire you again. After Vibhishan left Lanka, he went to Ram's camp and took refuge there. Right before the battle, he experienced the reality of Ram and was greatly overwhelmed, absorbed in that profound love. In fact, All his desires vanished, and he wanted nothing more than to remain immersed in Ram. But Ram also showed him what was happening in the celestial realm. Ravana retained memory of the celestial realms and knew them to be far more beautiful than the physical world. With resources the human mind cannot begin to imagine, he lusted for control over those worlds and sent his son, a mighty warrior, to gain those higher mental worlds for him. That is how his son came to be known as Indrajit, the conqueror of Indra. Indra being the radiant light of the higher mind, a most beautiful deva to be sure. That higher mind can only be attained through love, but Ravana and Indrajit sought to attain it through mental force. He did not attain what he sought, for that was simply not possible. But because his mental skills were so very powerful, this master of illusion perpetrated the perception that he had conquered the higher mental worlds. So much of Ravana and Indrajit's grandeur was built on falsehood, on fostering very convincing illusions. They were masters of deception. But I am getting sidetracked. Let me return to Vibhishana. What takes place anywhere in the universe affects the whole. What happens in those higher realms does not stay there, but filters down into the physical world, which is an outward projection of those worlds. And what happens here does not stay here, but filters back to those worlds, since all realms are intimately interconnected. The battle fought in Lanka was not only to preserve the dharma in the human realm. When earth is desecrated, the desecration reaches far beyond. Ram showed this to Vibhishana. Do you know why? I do not know. Because of what would come after the battle, Vibhishana was immersed in the consciousness of Ram and wanted nothing else. He naturally expected to follow Ram back to Ayodhya and to stay by his side. But that was not the plan. After anointed him and told him he must stay and rule Lanka, Vibhishana went to see Mata. On the surface, he was smiling, but internally, he was suffering at the thought of separation from Ram. And he said to him, "You must penetrate the surface appearance. You already abide in the consciousness of Ram, and nothing can change that. But you have a responsibility to lift up the consciousness here in this place. Your Dharma is here in Lanka. You and Mandodari together will help to heal and repair the damage done, and in doing, so many realms will benefit." Her words awakened Vibhishana to the reality of non separation, and the shadows that hung over him completely dissipated. Mata was also seeing her own future, and she knew what lay ahead. Her words to Vibhishana were not only for him, but for her as well, and for all of us. Had Mata not undergone an apparent separation from Ram and retreated to our isolated area, she would not have been able to help the village as she has now done. Do you remember when you and the others came together in the world of light and saw dark shadows on the horizon trying to penetrate the higher realms? I nodded. Many times I saw that, but I didn't understand how that could be. Threats here on this plane are also experienced there. As I explained, everything is connected across vast expanses of space beyond what the mind can perceive, and across the dimensions where so many worlds exist unseen by the human lens. They are affected by what takes place here, and people in this world are affected by what takes place across time and space. If we want to protect those higher realms, we must work in this one as long as we inhabit a human body. It is she who called you, Kian, Uma, and those other friends to the celestial world during your meditations. There you initiated the transformation now taking place in the village, but there is more to do, much more. People in your village have only taken the first step toward restoring equilibrium. Without such a council, another Manish will surely arise. Now is not the time for retreat, Devani. That will come later. Mata can work through you and help bring peace again to the village, peace and care, justice guided by compassion, and new structures that will be useful for the future. This is what Ram is doing, creating the foundation for future societies based on principles of Dharma. His efforts are in the cities and towns. Matas Matas are in the villages and with the forest lands because
That is where her heart is. Thank you so much, Jeswitha. And we can see Sitama there, right with us. Such a beautiful bird. We love it. And this is since this whole book is coming to the end. Now finally, Sitama presence has come up. That is totally divine. And just before to Dena Merriam, she's coming on Mother's Day, right? So we got that blessing. So nice. So now, like how Sri Ram or Prabhu Ram doing and how Sitama is doing to the villages and the forest people, how she is guiding them, and everything is again based upon the dharmic principles and the justice and the compassion. So, village life is what her father loved most, and she is so much her father's daughter, Janaka Baba. So, Sitama, she when she was with as a child, she loves to be with the people, nature. Soma was quiet and then spoke again. I know perhaps better than anyone that in her heart Rajkumari Sita never really left Mithila. People she knew there she is finding again. Many of them are being reborn here in the villages of Kausala kingdom. Their love has led them to her, and she cannot ignore that. You have solved my dilemma, I said, cracking a smile. No, you have solved it. Before sending me out, Martha told me you have already decided. All she does is help. No, you have solved it. Before sending me out, Martha told me you have already decided. All she does is help you acknowledge what internally you already know. I chuckled. How well she knows me. Soma got up to leave and repeated, Martha will call for you soon. She knows of your yearning to meet her. She Devan is very curious and she wanted to meet Sitama. But Soma, a great devata, right, who is with Sitama, she said, like, just wait for her call. She will call you. I became part of a small group of mostly neutral people who were charged with settling the issue of land and ownership. It was agreed that nobody could own land, but those who cultivated fields had special rights spelled out more clearly than in the past, when such clarification was not needed. The question that remained unresolved, which we left for the future, was whether such land could be passed down to the next generation. So this is all with the land, right? Right now, the whole in the human currently based upon the land, earthly things, material things, and the power. So that is where people have become greedy, and the conflicts and the fights have come up. It was not quite like it was before. Manish assumed power because now there was a body of individuals overseeing village affairs. At first, we were just charged with land matters, but soon other issues of dispute came before us. A new system was in place, and for the most part, it worked smoothly. Although I doubt we would have been able to achieve this had the Maharani not come to the village and talked about the way village matters were dealt with in the kingdom of Vaideha. I had not seen Puri since before the killing, and she was very much on my mind. For many weeks, nobody knew where she had gone. She and her children disappeared when Manish and his brother fled, and the council gave her cottage and all the possessions in it to the family of the victim. After some weeks, I heard that she had returned to her birth village. some distance away, and was living with her sister. I decided to visit since I had not had a chance to say goodbye and I was concerned about her well being. Now she was taking the separation from her husband, to whom she was most loyal despite his abuse. So, though her husband was abusive, but she is very loyal because she has seen her past. And the same thing, Devani, she befriended with Puri, even though her nature was like that, because Devani has seen her past and future with her. I decided to do what I had done at the beginning of our relationship, to pack food for her and her children. It was quite a walk to her family's village, but I was determined and set out early in the day, unsure of whether or not I would find her. After all, I was acting on a mere rumor of where she had gone. Puri was indeed hidden away at her sister's home. She was completely surprised and pleased to see me, and I was equally surprised to see how well she looked. For the first time, she was surrounded by an aura of peace and contentment, acceptance of what her life now brought her. When I asked her what happened after she left the village, she told me. So now the Puri has completely changed her. She has a beautiful aura, peace, calmness. After the murder, Manish's brother fled to the forest and Manish went to find him. When they did not return, I sent the children to a neighbor and went in search of them. I found them both in the presence of Maharani herself. I do not know what she said to them, but by the time I arrived, I learned that they had accepted her verdict and were getting ready to leave for Ayodhya. The Maharani spent quite some time with me, Devani. I do not remember her exact words. All I know is that she freed me from a certain guilt I had felt my whole life, which I cannot quite explain, a feeling of being unworthy, which I have carried since birth. And she sent me here to live with my sister. So Puri has that feeling of unworthy. Like many of us feel like guilty and that thing, right? So that Sitama has made her to come out of that feeling. What do you mean, freed you? I asked, wondering if she was referring to the past death of her child. So, um, uh, like she was thinking that her child also died, so maybe is it connected to that? She choked up and struggled to gain composure before replying. Then she continued in a quite trembling tone. He had some hold over me, which I do not understand. As if he knew something about my past and she released me from that. And here I will stop and I want Sunita, please continue.
Okay. He had some hold over me which I don't understand, as if he knew something about my past and she released me from that. Despite his abuse, I clung to him. He made me believe I deserved whatever he did to me, that for some reason he had the right to abuse me. The Maharani said something about an old karma from the past that was now done. She told me to begin a new life and she guided me to this village where I grew up and said the children would be sent to me. I am happier here than I have been in a long time. I will devote myself now to my children and to helping my sister raise her family. She was quiet for some time, as was I, because I did not know what to say. I changed the subject. The Maharani came to the village and the things are being sorted out. Puri, I think the divisions of the last many years will now heal. She did not respond, and I was sure she knew that she had played a large part in fostering those divisions. But that was in the past. When she spoke to the people, the Maharani asked everyone to let go of the past and to begin anew. She advised us not to hold on to negative feelings and not to judge our neighbors, those who held different opinions. She said that letting go of the old divisions was key to the healing of Lanka, and it will be key to our healing. She said that these were some of the lessons learned after the battle in Lanka, and we should apply those lessons to our everyday lives now. I know that many times I was harsh on you, Devani, and I hope you will forgive me. I believe it was your friendship that brought the Maharani to me. I shook my head. It was your prayers to Durga. It was she who sent the Maharani. Then I should keep praying to Durga. She muttered. You may pray to one form of the cosmic mother and another form may show up. That is the way the universe works. She was so kind and caring. I never expected the Maharani, who has so many responsibilities, to care about a poor village woman like me. Nobody, a person who has done so much wrong. Her voice broke and she paused to wipe her eyes before continuing. She seemed to know all about my life. She knew my past and she gave me a glimpse of the future. How is that possible? I gazed at Puri and smiled. Little did she know who came to her in the guise of the Maharani. To her, there is no such thing as a nobody. I replied gently. She cares for each one of us as she would care for her beloved Ram. How is that possible? She asked again with eyes wide open. I did not answer, but I took her in my arms and hugged her, and at that moment the love of Mata flowed through me to her. If I recognized her as a dear friend from the past, surely Mata knew this as well, and she helped bring to completion a cycle that began long ago. On the long trek home, my mind reviewed what I had seen of Puri's earlier birth, and it hit me that Manish was that child of her own whom she had killed. He had come back to haunt her and to make her pay for her misdeed. As a result of that incident, he became a embittered soul for which she bore some responsibility. How complex is the course of karma? If only we could see the long trail behind us and the path that lies ahead, which we are shaping as we step through life. What takes place anywhere in the universe affects the whole. What happens in the higher realms does not stay there but filters down into the physical worlds. And what happens here does not stay here but filters back to those worlds. Since all the realms are intimately interconnected, when the earth is desecrated, that desecration reaches far beyond. If we want to protect those higher realms, we must work here in this one as long as we inhabit a human body.
Thank you so much, Sunita. And you wanted to say summary?
I will try to.
Whatever you feel like, it's just a few minutes.
Uh, Starting, yeah, it is all started with Manish and his brother fighting over the fence. So here, putting the fence means like greediness. This is my property, my land. So there comes a fight with Mandar. So they killed one of Mandar's relative. Why he killed Mandar's relative? Because he was anger. When we see the first phase, we see that, oh, because of the fight he killed him. But when we look in the previous birth, this relative was like he was killed by him, like that Ajit story. Hope you remember. Ajit loved a girl, but the girl was engaged to Bodhi. So they were about to get married, but when this girl grown up, she became a woman. She started loving Ajit, just like a triangle story. Then it was hard for them to convince their parents. Then both Ajit and then girl ran away, and then Bodhi with he, because he also loved the girl very much, so he went and chased, like he found her and then he tried to bring her back, but she was not there. Then during this, Ajit and Bodhi had a fight, and by when he gave a fist, Ajit, he fell down, and by mistake he fell down on the rock which hit his head, so he died. So when he was dying, that Bodhi, he had the feel that he has taken away my lover, and that one caused to take a rebirth. That is why Mandar's relative is died in the hands of Manish brother. So that is cause and effect. And the other story was like, uh, and Mata, Sita Mata, she always tried to help the people staying in the village. So the Ravana, who is like because of his evil thoughts, he has power. He and Indrajit, his son, who also has the powers, but they were misusing. They were winning like the physical things like property or desires or anything, but spiritually they are not winning. So to bring the change in their behavior, Mata was living in the village, and Prabhu Ram, he was staying in the city or the town there protecting the people. And this Manish and this his relative, when they ran away, so many people are there, Uma, Kian, they are the good people in this birth. Those, they meditate and they travel in the astral realm, and they make the changes there. So and the Sadanand, they were all also trying to hide him, and these people are cheering, where is Manish and his brother? So they could not. And then when Devani, whenever she want to get a solution for her problem, she will go to Uma and Kian, because sometimes when we go to temple, we feel happy and we pray and do. But these people, when they meet together in the meditation, they get solutions in their astral realms, so through messages or channeling. So and there they could see that uh, Sitama, this Manish and his relative who killed that guy, they were sent to Sitama. They saw her in the like Maharani, and they were taken to Ayodhya to get the whatever punishment they have to get from the Ayodhya. So this, they could see everything in this. And then Manish, we see when we know first half. Oh, Manish is very abusive to his wife Puri. Why? Because this Puri in her previous birth was a child to this Puri, I mean Manish was a male. Manish was a child to Puri, and she killed him. So that anger, he has to take a revenge. So he came as a husband. That's why he was abusive. So that's what cause and effect. And even that Sitama, when they are doing the meditation, Uma, Ki and Devani, they were try. Sorry, that Bodhi who died, and then they were taking revenge. That body was here, but when the soul was there, then this Uma, Devani, they did meditation with him to make him substitute the anger, let go of the thing. In the previous birth he killed you, now you killed him, now it's balanced. Now don't keep any more angers or anything, so that it may take birth again. So then he, with their love, Devani and Uma, with their love, they cooled his and made him understand, then got the forgiveness. So then there the problem is solved, and there he wanted them to be guiding in the spiritual, like how we feel that energy of the gods or gurus. When we do meditation, we feel like so he wanted him. Then they, after when he was like rested in his mind, like peaceful, and he could see that recently his mom also passed away this body. Then that in the spiritual thing, he saw his mother. Then Devani said, now it's time to come back to this, and he is with his mom. So there are multiple stories covered in this. And then uh, so Sitama, she said that battle against Ravana was not with the weapons. It was fought with the anger and hostility. It is with the love. So the weapons Mata used is arrows of love, carefully targeted, not to cause unnecessary destruction, but to help souls whose time is to leave the physical world. So it is through love we should win others. And then Manish and Puri, Manish wife Puri. Though her husband was abusive, she was bearing, because somewhere the love is there. But she was forgiving him, and she's bearing. And then her mom, during her marriage, gave the idol of Durga Ma. So she never felt that to pray. But when the situations were getting worse and she was feeling bad, then she started praying Durga Ma. At that time, Devani comes and she asked her, like, you pray, believe, you will get. So in the form of Sita ma, she was solving her problems, like and then uh, she could see the aura around her, because that anger, guilt feeling is going and the peace is coming. And then even that Vibhishana, Ravana's Vibhishana, though he was brother of Ravana, but he is a person of devotee of Narayana, and he is a loving person. So even though he was there, but he came to Rama, and then Rama said, "You go back and stay in the Lanka. You shower your love and do your duty," like that. So they here it also tells that wherever, in which place or situation you are there, you keep your love, you show your love, you try your best. The other person's nature will change based on the situations. So and that's what I remember is. So yeah, Ram was doing there. Ram is doing, creating the foundation for future societies based upon the principles of Dharma. These efforts are in the cities and towns. Mata is in the village. Mata are in the village and with forest clan, because that is where her heart is. Because Mata, from her childhood, she was with her dad, Dasara Janaka Baba. So he was also a person loving, nature loving person. So she saw all what her dad did. So she also want to stay in the village, helping. Like even in the Sita story, also I remember that she used to make medicines from the herbs, all those things, and she gave. So and cause and effect, so whatever in the spiritual or real worlds, they take the decisions, they come on the earth to manifest. And whatever karmas are good or bad, they filter down and come on this earth. And whatever on this earth we do, good or bad, on the deserts or the guilt, anything, they filters back and go back. So until that's why in the they say the life cycle of birth and death will go on until and unless you attain the blissful state or the moksha, this thing. That's why that Puri, she afterwards she got the aura, because of the love. And sorry, hopefully I whatever I remembered I said. So it was nice. And Jeswitha, I am really surprised when
What
how
ethics?
the
My
parakeet is sitting. That is what, like Sita must love.
exactly.
When you were talking, I my concentration was going on. Oh my god! Now usually I speak in a high voice. I am like sitting parakeet. That is the bond, love. That is what the cycles.
And
Exactly.
usually she's very noisy. Right now she is silent. Even I am surprised to
That
see that.
is that is a real example of love. See, whatever form you take, the bond between you two is there. So okay.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
you are a cool person. And thank you all, masters.
So blessed. And so thank you, Chitraji. You also joined. And so just for those who have missed, because we are almost at the end of the book series, and for those who have missed, they can find this thing, yoga of selfless action, yoga of, you're seeing right my screen, yoga of awakening heart, and yoga of forgiveness. And each one have like around 17 or 18 people have participated differently with their energies, frequencies, with my intuition I got connected. And the yoga of non-possessiveness, and yoga of non-interference, yoga of mind over matter, yoga of gratitude, yoga of self-reflection and non-reaction, and yoga of inner attunement, yoga of transcending name and form, yoga of merging with the unified field, and yoga of remembrance. Since Chitraji is here, I just remember that one sentence I have to say, yoga of knowing Ram, and yoga of healing, and with our steady group doctors, and yoga of residing in the self, yoga of generosity yesterdays. So all of these we have to either for ourselves or our family or for our surroundings. There is a message either for ourselves or we have to tell to someone else, right? Our duty, since we are connected here. And again, all this is because of the universe. And since Sita Ma is listening to us, she is guiding us through Dena ji. That is a wonderful, what a blessed moment. And just that sentence which the yoga of remembrance, since Chitraji was here, I just remembered. So,
Yes.
right, Chitraji, your presence made me to read that sentence. I don't know. This is again.
No, while reading itself, I realized, but I didn't know whether I wanted to share or this thing.
You
While
have
reading itself, I realized that.
you made a remarkable. I don't know how I picked that yoga of remembrance to you. I don't know for a reason. It says like just small thing. By allowing, this is what it says, the message. By allowing the villagers to care for and serve him, which is like Janaka Baba, was enabling them to gain merit and neutralize some negative karma. See, if we alone do, we can get credit by himself. So Janaka Baba got hurt. So he can heal by himself. He has that power. But he did not do. He made villages to care, take the service. So by this process, it is a giving credit to them and it is neutralizing the negative karmas. Similarly, Ram was enabling the Vanara tribe to gain merit by assisting him. What we could have been achieved alone. See, just like I can do book reading, I think Inchara is there, right? Or she is gone. Maybe there is a disturbance, something. Okay, what we alone can do, we can do it one man show, but that won't be nice. When we can include everyone, what could have been achieved alone was turned into collective effort because that served the collective good where more people would benefit. So that is the message, and that Chitraji made me to speak. Wonderful, and thank you so much, friends, masters, and each and everyone, Inchara, Jeswitha, Sunita, and my son Kavin also, for short moment took part in this one. And it's a great blessing, and thank you so much for your precious time and sharing these words of wisdom and book reading. And we will all see again on Mother's Day and share your experiences. Just before we end, if anyone wants to share their experiences, please speak. Unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Kavitha Master, for giving this opportunity. One line I remembered is, in each life we resolve old karma, but create new patterns, which will guide our future, some good and some not. This was true.
Yes. So unmute yourself and we'll just end the session with 2 minutes meditation. And if anyone wants to say anything, or we are good.
Thank you, Kavitha Garu, for this opportunity.
Very nice.
It was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So just cross your feet and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Just observe your natural, easy, calm breath. And we have received so much positive energies from Sita Ma, Sri Ram, and Hanuman with this group consciousness and words of sharing and meditation. And we are showing gratitude to everyone and forgiving all the people who hurt us and blessing them, sending them love. And this group meditation heals our road, any blocks in our chakra. And just feel that cosmic energy flowing from your head to toe, each and every cell of your body. showing gratitude to plant kingdom, animal kingdom, mineral kingdom, Mother Nature, Father Universe, astral gurus, all the divine bodies, friends, family, technology. So, masters, if you are wanted to continue, you can continue meditation, and those who have to leave, just place your hands on your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open your eyes with a beautiful smile and hug yourself. Thank you so much. And we are ending this session. And thank you to Sita Ma, to your bird, Jeswitha.
Thank you, Mr. Kavitha. Thank you, Jaswitha girl. I
Yes,
am feeling so happy seeing you with the bird.
What a
You
blessing
shared
to
a
have
whole lot.
Sita Ma with us. Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you want to say hi? Do you want to
Hi.